Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Alicia. Today we're going to talk about rules to live by. I'm not even sure what I'm going to title this yet, but kind of rules for I'm not even rules isn't even the right word. Things to guide your life by, to be happier. I don't know. Anyway, like I said, I'm not sure how I'm going to go with this. And a lot of this, I think, is stemmed from I lost my parents and my mom when I was 21. So a lot of them are things I think rooted with that. So everybody has different life experiences, but just kind of some tips on, I don't know, how to make the most of your life, how to be happy, whatever. But at the end of the day, you guys have to do what's best for you. Everybody's different. Everybody's circumstances are different. This is just things that I try to live by now. Anyway, let's get into it. You might see me on my phone because I do have a list. Number one is making memories. And again, this is rooted from, I lost my grandma. My very first relative that was significant that I lost was my grandma. I was in 6th grade. She had breast cancer. So I started there, and then I lost some grandparents and great-grandparents in high school. But my mom really also affected me when I was 21. And I think how that came about was my parents, somehow their grand plan was to travel after I got out of college. We did not take that many family trips. I traveled a lot with my grandma, not so much with my parents. And that was just their plan, was to travel when I got out of college. That didn't work for them. So that's where I feel like a lot of my coworkers are always kind of like, gee, Alicia, you're always going places and doing things. That's why. I want to know if my time's tomorrow, I've done all I can do as far as things I want to do, making memories, traveling, going places. So I'm big on making memories and that could not be traveling. That can be making cookies at home, with my daughter or whatever. But I feel like time's too short, life's too short to put things off because you're too busy. Stop and take that moment. If it's just as simple as making cookies at home with your daughter or whatever it is for you, do it now. Don't put it off because you never know. And so a lot of these things probably are rooted from my experiences in death, but honestly, go now. Seize the day because you never know. And number 2 is also with that. Say, I love you. Say it now. Say it often. My dad, I knew he loved me in 1,000 ways. He never said, I love you, that I remember out loud to me until my mom passed away. And I don't know exactly when after my mom passed away, but very soon he said, I love you every time we got off the phone. And he had never done that. Now, again, he had showed up for every event of mine. He had done in 1,000 ways, showed me he loved me. But I don't remember him ever saying those words. And I never didn't hear those words off the phone. I lived in California. He lived in Indiana for a lot of, quite soon after that. And so anytime we talked on the phone, which was regularly, he always said, I love you. And I feel like we have to say that now. And this wasn't on there, but with that, I try the don't go to bed angry, which I know is sometimes hard or whatever. But I like to resolve disagreements with my husband, which doesn't happen very often, but I kind of think about if we were having a fight right now and said hateful things, and then he gets in the car and somehow crazily dies in a wreck. I have a feeling this is all going to be death related. I would hate that. And I think you would just hate that inside, that your last words were harsh. So I feel like at least try to end on a happy note. But anyway, that wasn't supposed to be there. Number 3, which probably should be number 1, is use the golden rule. And nobody's perfect. I mean, we're going to have moments in anger, or we're irritated at the circumstance at the restaurant or the store, or somebody's being crazy. So always give yourself grace. But try to treat people how you want to be treated. Be polite, say thank you, please, whatever. If you see somebody who needs something, try to help them out. But I feel like the world would be a better place if we just would go with the golden rule, which again, like I said, probably should be number 1. But if we're all just a little more patient, and maybe that person who's having looks like they're being mean or rude. Maybe they just had a really bad day or something. So give people grace, I think, is a really good place to go there too. I'm adding extras as we go along. Number 4 I have down here, make time for yourself. I've always been a person that I really need alone time. I don't get as much. Right now I'm getting alone time. My husband took my daughter to the park. And I don't know whether this is more for me because I was an only child in the country. So I had lots of time to myself, but I've always valued alone time. Ever since I got married, my husband would go for a bike ride or do whatever. I would do whatever. I think alone time is good. It helps you kind of think, reset, whatever. So make time for yourself. Even if that's a 10-minute spot in the day. Skincare has kind of become my daily thing. After the shower, I take 10 minutes and just, I don't know, it's just kind of nice to do my routine. But whatever that looks like for you, the gym, even if it's just, reading a book for 10 minutes. I know we're all busy, but set time for yourself. You're important. If you're happier and healthier, you're going to be able to better serve those that you love. Let's see. Number 5, try to find the positive. And I've gone back and forth over the years. There's been times where I feel like you can kind of harp on the negative. I have a coworker who's really kind of helped me see the brighter side. And so again, not everybody's perfect. Not everything's a bright side. Your car's broken down on the side of the road. I mean, yes, you can be like thankful that, you're alive, but it's okay to have bad days. I don't ever want to be like, you have to be happy and rosy all the time, but try to find the positive. Maybe work sucks right now, but at least you have a job. And again, that doesn't mean you can't be griping about the bad things, but try to find the bright side. Generally, there is. Again, some people's circumstances might be a little grim, but try to be thankful and find the bright side. Number 6, I've been working on a lot lately is let things go that you can't change. Just let it go. You can only control what you can control. There were some things at work that were bothering me. And over the summer, I was kind of just realized I have to let it go. There are things that I can't change that will probably never change. And I could be bitter and angry for the next 10 years, but that doesn't serve me. It doesn't serve anybody. If I just become negative over it, let it go, which sometimes is hard. Sometimes it's hard to let things go. Along that lines, if they're like, I was really fixating on wanting to go back home. Like I wanted to move. Honestly, whenever I go, I mean, I'm from Indiana, as you guys probably know, but Tennessee, North Carolina, whenever I'm there, it just stings to my soul. And I was really kind of getting, maybe like 3 years ago, I was really in this thing, if I wanted to leave or I wanted to move houses. Like I don't know. And we kept circling around, having these conversations. Like I was unsettled. And I finally just had to come to grips with it. My husband and I are both really conservative as far as like we have good jobs, and it's scary just to like drop everything we know and go, especially when we have good jobs in this kind of volatile work environment, or like people, getting laid off or quitting or whatever. So I finally had to just come to the, okay, we're going to do it or we're not. And then I'm just going to let it go. Like I just can't keep festering over it. And that was probably about 2 years ago where I really just like came to a point and I just have to let it go. I can't keep festering over, are we going to move? Are we not going to move? And same thing with this summer. I am so tired of focusing on food and weight loss. And I just want to be happy. Like I also want to be healthy, but I don't want to just fixate on my weight constantly, food, whatever. So this summer, I kind of just came to a point where I need to let it go. If I stay at this size my whole life, I'm going to be happy. I'm going to love myself. My daughter loves me. My husband loves me. Like I just can't keep, I don't want the next 20 years to be, should I have this bite of donut? Like I just couldn't do that. So trying to let go of things, like being happy with where you are, finding peace with where you are, because it's not healthy to just keep festering over things. And I've always been introspective a lot. So I kind of can see issues with myself and try to work them out. And again, if you can't, I just need to let it go. I'm never going to be a size 10. I never was a size 10. So why am I, like fixating on this? At number 7, focus on you, stay in your lane, which kind of goes with all of those things. Don't worry about what somebody else is doing. Worry about you. What's happening in your house? Again, that kind of goes with what can you control, or things that work, or just whatever. I feel like sometimes we need to stay in our lane, do our thing, and not worry about what, John Smith over here is doing, because maybe that's the best for him. Maybe it's not, but it doesn't matter what he's doing because we're working on ourselves. And number 8, which is my last one, which is again, do your best and don't beat yourself up. I feel like we can only be the best we can be. Some days, our best isn't going to be very good, and that's okay because we're human, and I think we beat ourselves up too much about things. We're going to have our moments where we're short-tempered. Apologize, move on. Like, we're not going to be perfect. Nobody expects us to be perfect. God didn't make us to be perfect. So I feel like we just hold ourselves too high sometimes, just too high standards. We have to, don't beat ourselves up. Give yourself grace, just like you would give a friend grace. And I feel like, these are just some things to help us be happier and just less, stressed or angsty or whatever. I feel like we need to take a breath, whatever that breath is. For me, it's often nature. I just need to, go look out, be beautiful, even if it's just a local park, and really, take in the scenery, be grateful. But there's so many positive things. And sometimes it's easy to get stuck in the news. Honestly, I've never been big on watching the news. The only time I really see the news is when I'm at the gym. And I feel like sometimes we just need to take a step away from all the negative and try to find some positive and do some good. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you guys have a great day. And I wish I could give you a big old hug. Anyway, I hope no matter what's happening in your life, you can find the positive and go take a breath of fresh air. I'll talk to you soon.